Meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Jepin Singh.
Here.
Sorry about that. McGuire.
Here.
McMurtry.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Moran.
Here.
Ortega.
Aye.
And Zhang.
Here. The agenda is presented for approval.
So moved.
Second. Did I hear a second? Okay. Seeing no further discussion. Roll call, please.
Jepin Singh.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
McMurtry.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Moran.
Aye.
Ortega.
Aye.
And Zhang.
Aye. Item number 3, the environmental response.
We do minutes. April 20th.
Oh, did I miss this?
Yeah.
Okay. Item number 2, the minutes from April 28th, 2026 are presented for approval.
So moved. Second.
All right. Roll call, please.
Jepin Singh.
Aye.
McGuire.
Aye.
McMurtry.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Moran.
Aye.
Ortega.
Aye.
And Zhang.
Aye. Item number 3, the Environmental Response Fund Grant Awards.
Cool. Can we pull that?
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yep. May we get a
So moved.
report? Thank you. Appreciate
wait,
that.
we gotta wait. Sorry, let me just stop.
There's number.
Oh,
No. And Commissioner McMurtry.
Yep. Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to just give an opportunity for CD team to share a little bit about the Environmental Response Fund grantee and the recommendation presented to us today.
Yes, hello, Chair and Commissioners. Ella Mitchell, Redevelopment Manager with Community and Economic Development. This is from our Spring 2026 Environmental Response Fund Grant Awards. We are recommending one award to J.B. Vang for the Hams West End redevelopment. So this is the historic rehabilitation of the Hams Brewery site. So there's specifically this funding is for the asbestos remediation. They have a lot of asbestos remediation needs there. So this will support that work. And then the project includes 70 units of affordable housing. So this is a little bit of a smaller round of funding for Environmental Response Fund this round. We did a kind of a larger round in the fall because we had really strong applications. So just one award for this spring, and then we'll have another round of applications this fall. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
No, I appreciate that update, and thank you for presenting this. The Environmental Response Fund is really important work, especially as we think through how development in Ramsey County is redevelopment. There's a lot of opportunity for us to help with that redevelopment, especially when it comes to remediation. So really excited for this fund, and also tied to one of our wins from this legislative session of knowing that the mortgage and deed tax was extended, so that gives us an opportunity to continue to use that for this particular fund. So just thank you for the presentation.
I saw Commissioner Miller first and then Commissioner McGuire.
just a quick question. I was reading that they were previously funded as well, and that the total remediation cost is upwards of $1.6 million. Do we anticipate another application as they further along their process of the site?
I am not sure at this point. I know that they are planning to, they have already applied to other funders, including Met Council and I believe DEED for funding as well. So at this point, I'm not anticipating another application, but they may need to apply to some of those other funders to complete that capital stack.
Yeah, thank you.
Great question.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair. Just thank you so much for all your work. It's amazing to see you in another capacity other than Rice Creek Commons. So thank you for all this great work. I was just in Little Canada, and we were presenting, and I had presented a year ago, and we had told them about some of these CDBG and ERF funds that would be available, and so the business applied for them and got them, and then we were telling the city council a year later that they had gotten these, and it was sort of like exciting to them that they knew this. So we love these programs. Because the businesses can just do this without necessarily going through the city. They come to us. It's a county business relationship, and I would just say that there probably is a mechanism for letting the cities know, but they were excited to know that this was happening in their community. So is there a process for letting the local government entity know that these things are happening in their community?
Yes, we definitely keep
Okay.
in touch with our cities through our, the CD has quarterly economic development summits, so we talk about this opportunity for funding at those. Many cities, this program has been around for about 20 years at this point, so most cities have some familiarity, but of course with new staff members and new businesses, we're always trying to make sure that people are aware that this funding is available.
Yeah, the funding's available, yes, which they found out and everything, but then to know that it actually got awarded was so cool. Like, they're like, wow, that's cool. And so just maybe an FYI that maybe we let the city managers know they can send it with the city administrators, that they can send it to their city council to let them know these great things are happening in their community. And it is great. And to just let them know that.
Yeah. And also what I'm also hearing is just an announcement of the awards that the
Exactly,
county
yes,
makes,
the
right?
announcement in
Is
the
there a
city,
plan for
yeah.
that with the overall, after the action here today?
Yeah, we typically include this. I think we're planning to include it in our next newsletter, and we also post all the names of the awardees on the program webpage. But we can definitely make sure to let the cities know.
Let the cities know,
specifically.
because
Yes.
the city administrator, they all looked at their city administrator and said, well, and he's like, well, it's not through us, it's through the county. So I said, well, good. And I mean, I can let my cities know too, but I thought it would be maybe just a nice step to let the cities know.
Okay, great. Commissioner Moran?
Can you also send that to the board in an email? Because
Yes.
I'm not the best at searching through Ramsey County, going online, and so it'll be helpful for me to see it.
Okay.
Thank
Yep.
you.
No problem. Definitely. Thank you.
All right, with no further questions or comments, roll call, please.
Jevin Singh,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
McMurtry,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moran,
All right.
Ortega, and Zhang.
Aye. And I also failed to mention that if folks have not seen the site, it's on the east side, Lower Payne Avenue. It used to be the old Ham's Brewery, so like the building has remained intact. And the story, the history of the story is also that like when they tried to bulldoze it, they couldn't. Yeah, so it's like stayed there for a long time. So development is redevelopment here. So this project goes to the other portion of it, but overall, as you can see, the total development cost is substantial. Yeah. Next, we have the last item on our agenda here. Let's see, do I need to read it? My computer's freezing. Is the obligation of the 2026 Housing and Redevelopment Authority levy for housing development projects.
Pull that.
Okay. May I get a second?
Second.
Okay, great. Commissioner McMurtry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to allow the team to come up to walk through these different projects that they're recommending for awarding.
Hi, good morning, Chair, Commissioners. Max Holdhusen, Community and Economic Development. So the item before you today is the obligation of 2026 HRA for housing development projects. These projects are selected out of our annual housing development solicitation. That's our consolidated solicitation. This year we were able to consolidate 5 funds so that developers only have to apply once for those 5 different funds. We received, this solicitation opened in April and closed near the end of May. So applicants had about 6 weeks to get their applications ready and come together. This follows an engagement period where we do a public meeting, a webinar, send information to our cities and our communities via newsletter and additional emails as well. So folks have the time to think about which projects are in their community and connect with developers as well. This first board action is the first of 5 board actions that will come for you. This is the HRA levy. In the 2026 HRA levy, we levied about $11 million for projects. So this award represents about 45% of that $11 million. The rest of the funding will be for our wealth generation programs like First Home, Critical Corridors, the Emerging Diverse Developers Program, and our site assessment grants. So that's kind of our full foray of the 2026 dollars. Today we are recommending before I talk about today, we received 45 applications to our solicitation, totaling over $72 million in requests. About 50% of those were preservation or rehabilitation of existing properties, including the acquisition and rehabilitation of affordable housing buildings. And about 50% was new construction. So the new construction affordable market is still really alive and well in Ramsey County. Today we are recommending 5 awards, 1 in Roseville, 1 in Falcon Heights, and 3 in the city of St. Paul. These are all new construction. Due to the timing of our program with the state's program, we want to position our first awards to be our high-scoring projects that are best positioned to apply to the Minnesota Housing Solicitation, which applications are due in mid-July. So this is really to help leverage additional state dollars to move forward affordable housing projects. The total amount of units that these 5 buildings will create is 305 units of new supply, and over 20% of those units will be affordable to residents at 30% AMI. So we're continuing our goal of deeply affordable as well as expanding new supply, both in the city and the suburbs. So in 2026, the 2 suburban projects will help us meet that 50-50 split across our entire HRA, and we are also reallocating dollars from previous HRAs, allocations from previous years. Those projects are not moving forward, so we have the opportunity to reallocate those in this solicitation as well.
Yeah. Commissioner McMurtry and then Commissioner McGuire.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Max, for that breakdown. Knowing that there was such a substantial number of applicants for this year, what's usually the process for CD of communicating to those applicants who were not fortunate to receive any funding this time? What is the process of hopefully letting them know of where they can improve for next time, and if you can walk us through what that communication looks like, that'd be great.
Yeah, Chair, Commissioners. This solicitation is very much open. We still have funding sources that have not been recommended to certain projects yet, so this solicitation remains very much open, and applicants might be wondering where they're at, but we're still waiting for our local affordable housing aid amount from the Department of Revenue. And so that will come at a later date. So that will be our largest funding source for this solicitation, and that has not been recommended to any projects yet. So still a lot of work to do within this solicitation. Generally in a solicitation at the end of, after all awards have been recommended, we reach out to applicants and offer a one-on-one meeting with our team and the applicant to go over their solicitation and scoring if they so choose to meet.
Great.
Commissioner McGuire.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you. I appreciate that answer. Our communities are really appreciative of this work, and thank you for really paying attention to the split and to everything that the balance that everybody said they wanted when they approved this. So I'm going to ask my same question that I asked previously, in as far as these are projects that the city doesn't necessarily. Are these projects that the city does apply for, or no? These are projects that the developer applies for. So does the city actually know about this? And I'm just going to repeat that. It'd be good to let the cities know that this is happening, and I'm guessing they do, but yeah.
Yeah. Chair, Commissioners, the developers apply directly for the funding in most cases. We've had examples where cities have a project in mind or a program, and they do apply for funds, such as City of Roseville for their land trust program in the past. The cities are aware through our community economic development summits, as well as our other solicitations prior to the solicitation opening. And then as we start honing in on which projects we want to fund or are recommending for funding based off of our scoring and our underwriting, we enter into prioritization conversations with those cities, which is particularly important with the City of St. Paul, and we work very closely with those staff because there's so many projects in the City of St. Paul. And we do have conversations with the local suburban city, and there usually is maybe one project in their city, and then we do talk to them about that project as well.
I appreciate that, and so I just that great communication, and I know our county manager is really in good communication with all of our city administrators. I just want to encourage that to continue, and then of course to encourage the city administrators to let their city councils and mayors know as well. But certainly I'll maybe be doing a little bit more on that myself, so my cities know the good work that's being done.
Commissioner Miller.
I just want to say thank you. This is really exciting. This is really exciting news. I really like that you added in the piece about why our timeline, and then so that these developers can also apply for state funds as well. I like that approach. I appreciate that. I'm also pretty excited to see the other 4 actions come through as well, and the timeline on that. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to see these projects break ground in the coming years.
Commissioner Jevon Singh.
Yes, I just wanted to ask, so some of the dollars were repurposed from previous solicitations that didn't go forward. Do we have an indication as to why some of these projects stalled out?
Yeah, Chair, Commissioners, every once in a while we see projects that decide not to move forward for a variety of reasons. We had, often it has to do with their financing and the cost of the construction of these buildings. And so after talking to the developers reach out to us and say, hey, I'm not going to move forward with that construction project anymore. Thank you so much for award. I hope that I can continue to apply for projects in the future. And the answer is yes, we understand that this can happen. And in fact, it's an opportunity for another developer. So.
Well, and thank you for that, and I anticipated that. There's a lot of stacking of funding that comes into play. Developments happen over a long period of time. Situation on the ground may have shifted as far as supply, labor, all the different costs that go in. And one of the things that I also was happy to hear that there's one solicitation for the 5 different funds or the different things, so that of these 45 projects, the ones that are remaining are still being considered for these other particular funds. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, Chair, Commissioners, that's correct. We are continuing to underwrite and analyze the finances of the additional projects right now based off of our scoring. So all projects have been scored, and so those top scoring projects are moving into underwriting.
And then, given that the dollars that we are directing towards these projects are to further specific housing goals, and I guess the question I have is, can you just remind us again, like the idea of we all have large goals as far as creating housing at all different levels, but specifically for those most in need at different income levels, and these dollars support those projects that are going to allow that to happen. I guess the question I have is, when I look at this, the dollars, the projects that were awarded, if I'm understanding the report right, that the dollars that we are providing through these funds is like 2 to 10% of the total project costs. It seems like when I'm reading some of this, so that's a significant amount. And is the idea that but for these funds, that these projects that would allow for these affordable housing levels to be reached, those projects may not have gone forward. They may have gone forward without providing that level of housing to the community?
Yes, Chair, Commissioners, our awards here really allow for the project may not have been able to continue without our gap financing, or the project would have continued but not with the variety of income levels within the project. So often we would see maybe it would just continue to be a low-income housing tax credit project with kind of 60% AMI housing, 60% AMI units for those residents at that income level. Our funding allows that to be a more mixed income building within the affordable kind of spectrum there.
Okay. Thank you. And I appreciate that. And while it may seem fairly elementary reviewing the work that we're doing here, these are big dollars, and I think it's important for us to remember the goals that are attached to the distribution of these funds, and I appreciate the thoughtfulness that goes into this process.
Great. Commissioner Moran.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for coming back before us to update us and share this information with us around the selection process. And, we all know that we need more affordable housing. I'm just wondering, because often, someone will build 107 units, and out of that, 7 units is like at 30% of the AMI. And I know we need, more deep affordable housing at the 30% of the AMI. What is Ramsey County process? Is there a process for, like, when we are investing dollars into developers, to kind of like create a space where we are integrating more deep affordable housing into their plans? What do that look like?
Chair, Commissioners, I think our scoring criteria really help developers move into an area where they are adding more deeply affordable housing into their building proposals. Developers are scored in 4 categories. One of those is affordability. And so additional points are given to these applications if they include at least 10% of the units at 30% AMI. They get an additional bonus if the 30% AMI level is above that. And they get an additional bonus if they're able to do that without other subsidy sources. So that those rare subsidy sources like a voucher or housing support can go even further in other projects as well. So I think our scoring criteria has really changed the development game a little bit, and we're seeing this little bit of 30% AMI, 10% in almost every building now, so that they, which wouldn't have happened prior to our funding in our process.
Okay. And how long have that process at 10% been the protocol?
Chair, Commissioners, this consolidated development solicitation really began in 2022, so it's only been about 4 years of that where we're able to bring our HRA levy or our other sources, including at that time American Rescue Plan Act and now local affordable housing aid as those big sources into this process and really be able to kind of direct the affordable housing market into meet our county goals in a better way.
Yeah. So it's pretty new, right? It's pretty new because and we have to start somewhere. You know, I was going to encourage to increase, but it's still pretty new. And developers are moving in. You're seeing developers move close into competing to reach that at least at 10%. To reach that 10%, and maybe in the future out, we can look at how we can continue to increase that from 10 to 15, or because there is a huge need for more deeply affordable housing right now. If we're going to even have a dent into our creating these pathways, right, ending homelessness, we need more deeply affordable housing. And so, I applaud the work that we're doing and the relationship we're building with developers. We'll also look forward to deepening this work. So thank you.
And I just also want to add, and just the questions that you're asking, Commissioner Moran, is just about, are we meeting our goal of investing in the development of more deeply affordable housing units at the 30% AMI, right?
Yeah. Yes.
For the full economic development report and the summary that we do every year, are we tracking that on the percentage of units and if we are meeting those goals overall?
Yeah, Chair, Commissioners. That is both in our annual report for the HRA and as well as in our department level performance measures that you will see in your 2-year budget as well. We track the percentage of 30% AMI units in both of those key documents.
Great. Yeah. Well, we'll look forward to that later this year then. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions or comments? Perfect. Thank you. We already got a second. Roll call, please.
Jebin Singh,
Aye.
McGuire,
Aye.
McMurtry,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Moran,
Aye.
Ortega, and Zhang.
Aye. All right. Let's see. Seeing that this is our last item here, are there any other comments or things for the good of the order? No? Okay. Meeting adjourned.